So is Brett Veach really a wizard at drafting corners late in the draft, or is that just a myth? The answer might actually shock you. We also have a couple more questions from Chiefs Kingdom. Stick around, let's talk about it. And if you would, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
All right, let's get into the first question from the comments. Everyone calls Brett Veach a DB wizard, but I wanted to actually look at the math. If we're talking late round picks, day 3, round 4 later, does the Veach special actually exist? Since 2018, Veach has taken 11 swings at a day 3 corner or nickel position player. Excluding our newest rookie, Noel Williams, and the starters like Trent McDuffie he got in round 1, we have 9 guys to evaluate. Let's start with the hits. L'Jarius Sneed in the 4th round. He's the crown jewel, but let's be real, even at his peak, he led the league in missed tackles and catches allowed. We got great value, but he wasn't perfect. Jalen Watson in round 7, he was a true rags to riches story. He fought his way to CB2 and is easily the best value pick of that 22 class. Rashad Fitton in the 6th round. I'm giving Veach a win here. Fenton allowed only 61% completion rate over 3 years and was a monster in run support with 32 stops and almost 0 missed tackles. But now, let's look at all the whiffs, and it's a long list. Joshua Williams in round 4. Fans had high hopes, but Spags clearly didn't. In his final season here, he played exactly 17 defensive snaps. 17. If you aren't on the field, you can't be a hit. Najee Johnson in round 7. He had the speed, but injuries and deep ball struggles killed his momentum. Fans were literally calling for his benching after he kept getting burned over the top. Tremont Smith, Bo Peep Keys, Nick Jones, Kamal Haddon. None of these guys became rotational pieces. They were roster fillers at best. And the jury is still out on Chamari Connor, but it's trending towards a giant miss. In 2025, he allowed 56 receptions, the most of any safety in the NFL. That's a massive liability. The verdict? 3 hits out of 9 players. That's a 33% hit rate. It's not magic. It's just taking a lot of swings and hoping that a few land. Now, if you think 33% at cornerback is mediocre, wait until you see the defensive end room. This is where the draft capital goes to die. If we look at every edge Veach has ever drafted, he is 1 for 6. George Karlaftis in round 1, he's the only clear hit. He's a motor guy, a double-digit sack threat, but even he gets criticized for a lack of elite twitch or quick pressure rate. Still, he's got to be a win. But look at the rest of the room. Breeland Speaks in round 2. He was a legendary bust. We traded up for him, and he was out of the league before his rookie contract was even close to being over. Felix Anudike-Uzomah in round 1. I'm calling it like I see it. He's a bust right now. Unless he puts up 10-plus sacks in 2026, that first-round pick was a total waste of resources according to fans. Joshua Kaindoh in round 4 and B.J. Thompson in round 5. Total whiffs. Neither one could crack the rotation or stay healthy enough to make an impact at all. Then there's Mike Danna. I'm going to give Veach a half point here. Danna was a solid role player for a few years, but let's be honest, his final year in KC was pretty bad. He looked slow, and the contract he signed a couple of years back, it was way over market value for what he was able to provide. He was average at best. So if we look at day 3 edge rushers, specifically Mike Danna, Joshua Kaindoh, and B.J. Thompson, Veach is a half point for 3. That's a 17% hit rate. When you compare 17% at edge to 33% at corner, it's clear. Veach is better at drafting secondary depth, but in reality, it's because he's took more swings there. When it comes to the trenches, we are essentially throwing darts in a dark room. We have to do better at scouting the D-line if we want this defense to stay elite. So in a way, we've all been a little bit fooled with that Veach is a DB whisperer in day 3 adage that stuck because of his 2022 draft class. Problem is, after a few years, it just doesn't hold up, and the claim just honestly isn't even true at this point.
All right. Everybody is talking about David Bailey versus Ruben Bain for the Chiefs to draft, but the real question is, how does Brett Veach get them without gutting the entire future? You're going to have to trade up to get either one of those guys most likely. So I sat down with the Rich Hill trade value chart and looked at the most efficient way to get every spot from pick 3 to pick 8. The goal here was simple. Keep round 1 pick 29 and keep round 2 pick 40. If we do that, we don't just get an elite edge rusher, we get a whole new core for this roster. If David Bailey or Ruben Bain is a target for Arizona at number 3, we don't have to give up a mountain of picks. We send number 9, our third rounder this year, and that extra third from the Rams next year that we got for McDuffie. That's it. 2 picks in 2026 and that extra 2027 third rounder. 3 assets to get a top 3 talent while keeping your first and second round picks this season. If we move to number 4 with Tennessee, the price is actually our third, fourth, and fifth rounders. It's more picks, but they're mid-round flyers. You're trading quantity for the ultimate quality at defensive end. Now, if Bailey or Bain slides to number 5 or number 6, this is where Veach can really fleece the league. To get to number 5 with the Giants, we give up number 9, our third, and 2 fifth rounders. But look at number 6 with Cleveland. This is the most efficient trade on the board. A straight swap of number 9 and number 74 almost perfectly matches the value. In fact, we're slightly overpaying. So I'd expect Veach to ask for a 6th or 7th rounder back from the Browns. And finally, if we just want to jump Washington at number 7 or New Orleans at number 8 to make sure someone doesn't jump us, it's a bargain. We're talking about giving up our 109 and 169 to move to number 7. To move to number 8, it only cost us our 148 and 169 picks, or just the 109 pick, and get a small late round return. Now again, there's more than one way to accomplish these deals, but this just shows how easily it can be done without having to mortgage the farm. What this tells me is that the Chiefs are in total control. Because of the extra picks we've hoarded from the Rams, we can move anywhere in the top 10 without losing our ability to draft a high-end tackle, cornerback, or wide receiver at number 29 or number 40. This isn't just about Bain or Bailey. It's about Brett Veach having the ammo to do whatever the hell he wants to do on draft night.
Chiefs Kingdom, we have officially partnered with Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports platform. It's distinctly separate from a traditional sports book, and it's the absolute best way to add some extra heat to every single game. The app is incredibly easy to use. You aren't playing against sharks, you're just picking more or less on an individual player projection. Think Kenneth Walker's total rushing yards per game, more or less. Travis Kelce's total touchdowns in 2026, only 4, more or less. You just pick at least 2 players, lock in your lineup, and you're in the action. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, Florida, and right here in the heart of America, Missouri and Kansas. One thing we love is the new public feed. You can actually find and follow us directly on the app at All Chiefed Up. You'll be able to see our live lineups and tell our picks before we even post them here on the channel or our other social media platforms. So if you haven't joined yet, just download the app and use code HMA when you sign up. When you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 in lineups instantly. Click the link in the description, use code HMA, and remember to always play responsibly. Now back to the show. All right, let's pivot to a really smart question from Michael Sogas. He asks, David Bailey plays on turf at Texas Tech. Does he struggle when he has to play on natural grass? Should the Chiefs be worried about his transition to Arrowhead? This is a classic scouting trap question. We see a guy with elite speed and we assume he needs that fast track to win. But I went into the lab and looked at every snap this kid has played on the green stuff, and the results might surprise you. First off, don't forget that before he was a Red Raider, David Bailey was a Stanford Cardinal. For 3 straight years, his home was Stanford Stadium, which is natural grass. He didn't just play there, he thrived. In 2024 on grass, he had 7 sacks and led the nation in forced fumbles for a good portion of the year. He was born on the grass. But let's look at this past year. Texas Tech plays on field turf, but they had a massive road test on October 18th against Arizona State. ASU plays on a thick Bermuda grass. If Bailey was a turf-only player, this is where he should have disappeared. Instead, he had 2 sacks and 5 tackles. He actually performed better on the grass than he did in half of his home games on the turf. Then we have the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, another natural grass surface. Against an elite Oregon offensive line, Bailey was everywhere. He led the team with 9 tackles and added a sack. So to answer Michael's question, is David Bailey worse on natural grass? The answer is a resounding no. His bend is so natural and his center of gravity is so low that he doesn't rely on the grip of artificial turf to win. If anything, his heavy-handed style and motor make him even more dangerous when the game gets a little grittier. If Veach pulls the trigger on Bailey, don't worry about the field condition. This kid's game travels anywhere there's a white line and a quarterback to hit.
Time is yours, Chiefs Kingdom. Get down in the comments and let us know how you feel about all that stuff. Also, hit that like button for us and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'd appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.